días, todos de la BC Wrestle Pod fam. Hello, everyone, and welcome once again to our second of our double header this evening here, this Wednesday night. And welcome to Los de la Lucha, your weekly CMLL post-show breakdown here at BC Wrestle Pod. Of course, my name is Mikey. I am El Jefe WrestlePod. And as you can see, I'm going to be rocking it solito tonight. So I'm going to be talking about this past week's CMLL Viernes. But even though physically I might be the only one on my screen, I am never truly alone here, as I have our good unofficial co-host and dear long friend to BC WrestlePod, Agent Lo-Fi Primo, is in the chat to give me his thoughts and, to do the banter back and forth. So I appreciate him because it makes these solo reviews more interesting. So it's less of, I thought this match was good, because then we can talk about some stuff as well. Unfortunately, because I am the only one here tonight, as I said, Adolfo is still on his hiatus, but I will be talking to him soon in the next couple of days. And so hopefully we can figure something out and see how he's doing. And Papa also had to take the night off, as he is kind of needing a mental reset after a long day. But he sends his regards and his love to everyone out there on the internet. And yeah, so I do miss my co-host, but I am holding it down for them, and I look forward to seeing them next week and very Lucha Libre goodness, and also to talk about all the crazy stuff that has happened within the last 12 hours or so with contracts with CMLL talent and places and things like that. It's kind of crazy. But if you are new here to BC WrestlePod, or you've been rocking with us for a while now, y'all already know the drill. YouTube, Twitch, and Kick is where you can find our lives and our edited reviews. We also have social media at BC WrestlePod, where not only do we talk about the report cards and the predictions, we also do previews of the shows, as well as give you guys some entertainment with our clips from the episode. So it's a lot of fun. And then, of course, we have merchandise at our shop, bcwrestlepodshop.fourthwall.com. Link is in the description of this video below. We are slowly starting to phase out our 2025 designs and making room for our 2026 designs. They are looking nice and clean for everyone. So that is going to be a lot of fun. And then finally, we have a little coffee bot, our little friendo here, who is collecting the quote-unquote tips, if you will. Those are to help pay for our pay-per-views, because we cover a lot of companies, and sometimes streamings do not give us those pay-per-views. And so we do use our money to officially give to the wrestling companies, because we think it's fair and it's fantastic. So that little, our friendo will be popping up in ever so shortly. But now that I got that out of the way, let's talk about this. So I am going to be breaking down the Friday, January 9th edition of... So this is the VIP episode, if I remember, that being correctly. And as Primo told me and Papa also last week, that the VIP, these were matches that were voted on by the CMLL faithful and the fans. So a lot of these matches were made by them. And yeah, honestly, there were some matches in here I had questions about, but I had a good time overall. And I'm going to be saying that a lot, because I did. Yep, thank you for reminding me, Primo. Yep, so I was right in remembering it. I can do things. No, I did a better job this week taking notes as best as I can, because usually I can banter off Papa Oso and Adolfo, but I wanted to do my due diligence. In 2026, we're going to get better with our notes. So without further ado, let's just jump straight in. So we kick off this week with this particular trios match. So this, of course, sees the like of... Let me make sure I have my notes correctly. Yep, I'm reading the right one. So we have, and made by fans, it's more like 500-ish people that bother. I mean, that's very true, but you know what? It's those 500 people that made this happen. So shout out to them. And you're probably part of that too. Love that. Alrighty, but we kick things off with this trios match. This was the team of Caligula and Pequeño taking on... So again, we always say this every single time. This is going to be... This could be... We're going to say that... I say this all the time. We say this every single week. Opening match definitely gives us the energy that we need for the remainder of the show. So this is always usually kicked off with the trios match, and I dug this. You could easily break these, but no one goes to see. I mean, you're probably right. You are right. So what you're saying is us here at Los Lucha and we need to figure out a way to jerry rig everything so we can get our favorite peoples to do some stuff. Going back and forth as my fave of the night, to be honest. You know what? I have to say, I usually, not to say that I don't give the opening matches too much mind, but usually they're there to give us, the Escuela boys, some newer folks. But honestly, I have to kind of agree with you, Primo. I do think this was one of the, I don't want to say better because I did enjoy all the matches just to varying degrees. I will say this is probably one of my favorite matches of the night, at least in the other match that is probably going back and forth between this one and the other one being your favorite. So yeah. No, they did not just go ham. They went ham and cheese with turkey and bacon all over it. Like, this had no right to go this hard. These boys went hard in the paint, as the kids say, apparently. But this was a really fun one. I really do think they're just like, look, there's 6 of us. We got to give let's just go out there, just do the damn thing. And we're just going to go flying that they did. I forgot how built Angelito is, like in terms of like frame wise. And the only reason that I bring that up is because as a more stockier person is the nicest way to put it for me. Nowhere am I as athletic or built like Angelito, but I understand how the broadness of the shoulders and the stocky frame go, because I'm like, there is a lot to work with and a lot of areas that you can use to quote unquote catch people when they get thrown at you. And Angelito's really fun, but yeah, I really enjoyed this one. I do think these boys went and gave it everything that they had, and honestly, this was a really solid match. This match was crazy, and this was just a fun, and the fact that this was opening the show too was kind of nuts. But hey, shout out to all 6 of them. In the end, it would be who do end up picking up the win over and Dro de Acero for the win. And this was a lot of fun. I thought this was a really smart way to open up the show, and it definitely had me excited for the rest of the show. No, and 100%. And again, like we say, the opening matches are usually reserved for the Escuela boys, the newer folks, or the minis also. So everybody gets their opportunity, and and you know what? You take that opportunity, and usually you can make it memorable. Because look, between you and me, Primo, we're going back and forth between this match, and each of us, we might be thinking about the same secondary match, but we'll see. But really good job from our minis in this one. We move into the second match, which, of course, again, VIP match. This is a tag team match of a level sencillo. So this sees specifically Calavera Jr. Uno, Calavera Jr. Dos, taking on the team of Polvora and a recently Robin. I have to say, he looks so different without the mask now. I was just like, what is happening? You know what? Here's the thing, right? So when we started, breaking down CMLL, like, what is it? At this point, we're like a year and a half, 2 years now, which is crazy to think about because we've done 2 Aniversario shows, which is really, really nuts to say. So maybe a year and a half. I can't believe we've been covering CMLL for this long, but I have no regrets. Robin was one of the first ones I was gravitating to because, I mean, I liked his style. I liked his, stage presence, if that's the word. No, that's not the word. I liked his overall package and how his mask looked and everything. So this was a fun so I was really gravitating towards Robin. And then, of course, I have so many more favorites. So it took me a minute to be like, oh yeah, I forgot Robin doesn't have a mask anymore after Sin Salida. But as far as the match goes, I mean, I thought it was all right. I think this match definitely, bring up Primo. I think it served its purpose. It did what, it had to do. Yeah, it was a pretty standard match. And this was the fallout from the scene. So especially, Robin losing that match and losing his mask in it. So it's really solid. And of course, like I said, it's really fun to watch the crowd to get behind the Calavera Juniors. I mean, we saw it at Sin Salida and we saw it here too. But this was a pretty decent match. I definitely think that it was pretty solid through and through. Nothing too crazy. But just to kind of finish off the fallout, if you will, from Sin Salida. And yeah, this was pretty good. Robin looks like an Alvarado to me, at least. I'm way too deep into this ish. LOL. I'm telling you, Primo, we're going to capitalize on this. Like, we're going to figure out how you can give us all the tea, and we may or may not start doing like those crime series documentaries of all the dramas that happened in Libre. So I love it. It's great. But Robin win this match against the Calaveras. This kind of takes us to the end of the quote unquote arc that Sin Salida gave us from Robin losing his mask and now win here. And we continue to move forward with ourselves in CMLL. After this match, we get into our third match of the evening, which was another tag team match. This is a relevo sencillo as well. This time, we see the team of Max Star and Futuro taking on the team of Enya. It's really great. I feel like, and maybe it's just me, I feel like it's been a hot minute since I've seen Max and Futuro together, at least on my Friday screen. Again, I watch a lot of wrestling throughout the week, so things kind of tend to blur for me. So I wouldn't be surprised if they were, and I'm just misremembering everything. As far as this match goes, again, I really do like Max Star and Futuro. I know that I saw, from what we saw of them in 2025, they were pretty fun, and I enjoyed both of them individually and as a tag team as well. And of course, Myth and Euphoria are really fun. I know Euphoria has been at our forefront, not in 2025, but in 2024 too, because, that's when he lost his mask at Aniversario 2 years ago. And so now we've kind of gotten used to him being this way. I thought the match itself was pretty decent. I'm not going to lie. Again, I kind of know what to expect from Mephisto and Euphoria at this point. And I do like Max Star and Food. Yeah, I thought it was fine. I mean, and this really sucks because, again, I want to make sure that I express my opinion properly. I didn't think any match was particularly bad here because I saw some other stuff. But I kind of felt like something was missing in this one for me to take it from, decent to great. Ooh, Primo coming in with thoughts. I thought the opener was what this match was going to be. Kind of disappointed in this one. Still decent, just not the VIP that got them here. I think that's what it is too. I think because on paper, right, when you see these four individuals going up against each other, like there's a certain, expectation that we have come to expect from these particular four talents in CMLL. I know, Primo, you have been watching this a lot longer than I have, but at least in the last 2 years that we've been doing CMLL and watching and breaking it down, like I've come to know these four and I really do like them. I think they definitely have had stronger performances. I do think that you are right, and I agree with you. I think this was decent, but it was kind of disappointing. And on paper, this was, what this the opening match that we got for this episode and the energy and everything and the action that we got with it should have been here, but it just didn't. Still, like you said, I think this was also a pretty decent match. Mephisto and do win, so we got to win here, and it was pretty decent. But I kind of wanted more from them. But hopefully, we got a whole 2026 to go down, so who knows? They'll probably mix it up in some capacity, either here or on the other two shows throughout the week. So that includes Puebla and Guadalajara, which we love. So we get into our fourth match of the evening, and I was very interested because before we even get into the match, well, actually, I'll set this up and then we'll talk about, everything before the match and then the match itself. So in this one, we have so this is 2 out of 3 falls. And this saw the team of Star Black, Fugas, and taking on, of course, our lovable Galeon Fantasma, 2/3 of the members, Defunto and Barbosa. But then we get a Joaquin Jr., who is still not cleared yet, but he gets on the microphone. At least I think it's on the con. Yeah, because he had a crutch on. And so he introduces one of the newest member to, which is, so Primo, maybe you can correct me. I don't remember seeing Furia Roja at all last year, at least maybe on Friday, or maybe I did and was just a one-off. I don't remember him. Again, I watch a lot. But I was just like, oh, okay, I'm cool with him. That's why. Okay. He is a Guadalajara guy. Thank you for the fact check, Primo. I want to make sure I'm not talking out of my ass, so to speak. Thank you, though. Okay, that makes a lot of sense. So he's mostly on the Guadalajara shows. But hey, you know what? Again, about taking opportunities, you take your opportunities with this one. So Furia Roja is the newest member. Okay, that makes even more sense, and I'm connecting the dots now. So Furia used to team up with Barbosa down in Guadalajara. Got it. Okay, makes more sense now. And so again, the dots are connecting for me. So as far as this match goes, again, a lot of these are VIP, and so now it makes a lot of sense that Furia is teaming up with Barbosa since they were they teamed up and down at Guadalajara. Again, I'm going to sound like a broken record when I say this. I feel like this was a decent match. Again, a lot of the VIP matches on paper, I was like, oh, this should be fun. I do think that Star Black, Fugas, and Explosivo definitely had some of the more funner spots to me. Of course, I'm biased. I do love Fantasma. I really, really do. I just think this was pretty decent. I think, okay, if I had to rank everything so far that I watched, the opening match was still probably in my top 2 at that point of the show. And so I was just like, yeah. He was also maybe a bit too excited in the. Oh my gosh. Okay, I'm glad you brought this up because I want to talk about it because I really love the presentation of Furia, but he got a little too excited. I was just like, I need everybody to slow their roll because we ain't trying to see people catch bodies out here for real. Like, we're not trying people to get hurt. We don't want to see people get, break something on TV or YouTube in this case, because that's what we're watching it from. But I'm just like, I need you to pump the brakes, bro, because I get it. I'm excited. But it's like we're in Arena México on a Friday night, but we got to pump the brakes. So we got to get it. Everybody's got to get in their spots. And you know what? I'm glad the moments in this match where my eyes were gravitating towards Star Black. And he definitely had a lot of the more stronger the stronger points of the match itself, which, makes a lot of sense. And, him, Fugas, and Explosivo do defeat Fantasma. So hopefully in 2026, however long we still have to wait for to come back from injury, here's hoping that Galeon will come back stronger than ever in 2026. So moving on, though, we get into our semi-main event, which is a lightning match. So, match Relampago. So for those of you, again, I'm going to repeat the saying this. Also, Zandakan needs to keep the Kate after return. Absolutely. I was like, we big pimping out here. We big pimping. So I really, really enjoy it. But back to what I was talking about in the semi-main event we have a match, which is a lightning match. And for those of you who are not aware of what that means, this is a quick 10-minute bout. That is the time limit for this match. It is 10 minutes. And usually... And why we like these types of matches here in CMLL is because I like my wrestling with a sense of urgency. And so when you have a 10-minute time limit, you kind of need to try to not only get all your spots in, but you have to throw everything, the kitchen sink, the refrigerator, and sometimes yo mama to try to pick up a win in such a short time. Okay, a revision on my previous fave. It's the main, but I'm back and forth on this and the opener as second. Okay, I can agree with you here because the opener, this one, and the main event were my favorite threes. And we're going to agree too. The main was also my favorite match of the entire night, and we're going to talk about it in a little bit, but I'm going back and forth between this one and the opener as my second fave. Here's the thing, right? So I am a huge fan of I've always, even before I started watching CMLL, I'm a big New Japan person too, and Titan stuff in New Japan, especially when he was with, I really love saying it, and I miss saying it too, because that faction is no longer a thing now. But yeah, Titan is one of my favorites. And again, I really enjoyed watching him in Best of the Super Juniors this past year in Japan. He was really fun. I was hoping he would get a little bit more wins, but you know what? He had a really fun showing and had some really good matches. His match against Nick Wayne was probably one of my favorites. I'm not even going to lie. But then you have on the other side, you have Mascara Dorada, and Homeboy is been having a crazy he had a crazy 2025. He's been popping up at AEW. He popped up at AEW pay-per-view. He was in the Continental Classic playing spoilers. But I agree, Primo. They got a thing in this one. My lord, listen. These two, I knew on paper I was not going to be disappointed, and I'm glad I won it. No, and of course, obviously needed more time, but they tried. The pace at the start was something. Woo! This was like, to quote the inevitable Jacob Fatu, this was all gas, no brakes, yada I mean, this was like, as soon as they started, as soon as the match had begun, like it was 120 miles per hour and no brakes. I was just like, Lord help us. And this is what I love. And these are the Relampago matches that I really, really want to see, right? The lightning matches that I really need. I know I have been kind of hard on the most recent lightning matches that we got because they range from, oh, it was pretty okay and fine, to I don't think this was great. But this is a crazy way. And this is probably one of my favorites so far this year, which is crazy because we're barely like 3 weeks into the new year. And these two put on a banger. And obviously, I want them to run it back, but give them like 20 minutes. That's what I want. Give me a 15 to 20 minute match between these two. Gosh, I would love to see that more than anything. Also, since we're talking about a Máscara Dorada, I would like to take this opportunity to congratulate him and our CMLL Amazona Persephone, who announced on Infonema that they have signed dual contracts with CMLL and AEW. So if that means that they get double the paycheck, I ain't mad for get the bag, y'all. Get the bag. But with these dual contracts, it makes me excited because that means we'll probably see Máscara in AEW and a Ring of Honor as well. I would love to see, right now with Mercedes Moné taking a break from AEW, and Primo, you were there for our AEW post show on Tuesday, bringing up that Mercedes might pop in for the all women's show in March, which would be fantastic, and possibly Persephone can get there. So yeah, first I would like to bring in Dungeon Mistress Erica. What is up, Erica? Hey girl, how you doing? Thank you for popping in really quickly. And Primo, to highlight your comment, start stating the obvious for anyone that was paying attention. LOL, but congrats big time to them both. Honestly, yeah. If you have been watching AEW in 2025 at all, Máscara Dorada and Persephone were all over the program. I mean, Persephone challenged Athena for the title at Final Battle. She was also involved in the Fatal 4-Way at Forbidden Door this year. And then Máscara Dorada again popping up in AEW from time to time. He was in that one of my top matches of last year in that triple threat with Okeshida and him at All Out Toronto. And then he was in the Continental Classic and he got some points and played some spoilers. So folks, so shout out to them. I love it. Yes, and we celebrate good things here on this channel. I'm also looking forward to the move, girl. We love to see it. So good. I'm excited for you. But yeah, this match was bananas. It was 120 miles per hour from the get-go. Máscara Dorada does end up beating Titan with just a couple of seconds left on the clock. This match rolled, and I was super excited going into the main event. And I'm just going to put it out here, Primo, like you said earlier. I 100% agree with you. In our main event, this was for the CMLL World Light Heavyweight Championship, is the best English translation I can get. But we have, if for those of you in Spanish, this is me, the champion, taking on the challenger, and so here's the thing, right? For reals, I was just like, what the flip? Místico, add this to the Místico 2026 WOTY list. Like, Lord help us. A classic, in my opinion. No, honestly, here's the thing, right? So Místico is always going to bring some really fun stuff. I do feel that depending on the opponent, it depends on like what he brings out. So Místico is always probably going to be pretty good. And again, he is the poster boy for CMLL. So that's always a good thing. But I have to give so much credit, and I want to give flowers to Barbaro Cavernario, because I don't want to say he hasn't been motivated in the other matches that we've seen him in over the last couple months. But this is the most focused and the most, eyes on the prize Barbaro Cavernario that I have seen in the last couple of months. But yeah, Místico and Barbaro made magic in this one. And I agree with you, Primo. Barbaro is a perfect rudo for this match and for Místico. This was so freaking good, man. Honestly, I know it's too early in the year, but I might put this as like one of my candidates to go back to for match of the year. I'm just like, fantastic. No, and I was about to bring that up too, Primo. I think with Barbaro winning the Leyenda Azul a month or two ago, this has definitely helped, keep raise his stock. And I actually really glad that he got this opportunity to go up against Místico, because hot damn, this was such a good match. And honestly, I agree with you. This was great. And that's what I love to see. Okay, so Primo, I know that you're not on here, like, so I can actually talk to you like voice to voice, but we can do this, through the chat as well. One of my favorite things in professional wrestling, and I feel that it should be something that is reserved for like feuds that deserve it, and it shouldn't happen all the time. But I love it when wrestlers use their opponent's finishers to win as like a period on the match itself. If we could use the match as like a sentence, right? So the beginning of the sentence is the match, everything's going on in the middle of it, And not only does he end the match, but he uses Barbaro's finisher to kind of put not even a period, but like an exclamation point on the match itself. So after the dust is settled, your winner and still your CMLL light, world champion in Mystico. I really do love the sign of respect between the two of them afterwards with, and Mystico shaking hands and Barbaro saying Mystico that he's going to get this title at some point, but it was a really cool way for the show to end. Oh, you also bring up a good point, Primo. It also showed that not every Mystico match has to end in La Mística, and I actually really like it. I feel like I'm one of the few people in professional wrestling, or as a fan of professional wrestling, I always would love to see wrestlers have more than one finisher, because then you never know what you are going to get. So I really do appreciate it with all of that. And honestly, again, it was really, really cool to see Barbaro and Mystico throw down like this. I really do think that this is probably at the top of my list right now, or at least I'm going to put this as part of some of my favorite January matches, because I do want to start, creating what I call a snack pack of great matches across a bunch of promotions for people to watch, so you can get a feel of what good wrestling can and do. So this was fantastic. Honestly, the show definitely had some ups and downs, but I definitely think that this match and the opening match definitely brought the energy for me, and this was such a fun one. So yeah, that's it for the review portion of our CMLL breakdown, but I'm not done quite yet, because as we always do here, I do want to preview the show coming up this Friday, which is, I'm just going to put the picture up there, right? So I'm excited because, as everybody knows here, we at BC WrestlePod, we cover a lot of wrestling from across the world and here in the States. So this weekend is going to be stacked, because we got a lot of folks coming over from AEW to wrestle some of the CMLL talent. And I'm really excited because we are getting a good mixture of CMLL talent as well as AEW folks coming in and fighting. And so it's going to be really, really good. But here is what is currently on the docket for the Friday, January 16th edition of. So to begin, we are going to have a tag team match which sees the likes of Magia Blanca, Ticken, and L. So that is going to be really, really fun. Yeah, this weekend is definitely going to be wit, and there's a non-zero chance they stream. Oh, absolutely. And you know what? I will try to make time to watch it all too. So, but yeah, again, opening up the show this Friday, we have Magia Blanca and taking on, I think I pronounced it right. So this is the trios of Valiente Jr., Max Star, and Futuro, taking on the trio of El Cobarde, Felino Jr., and Eva Jr. So that should be a good one. Then we get into the crazy stuff, right? So after that, we are getting a tag team match, Lucha in. So this is CMLL versus AEW. Representing Arena México is going to be the Novino Jr. and Barbaro, taking on AEW's Gates of Agony, which is Bishop Khan and Toa Leona. I love the Gates of Agony. I am so happy to see these boys here. They have come so far, and I'm excited to see how they go up against Soberano Jr. and Barbaro Cabenario. This is going to be nuts. Then, in Evento IP, Mano a Mano, it's a legendary status here. We are getting Blue Panther versus Ultimo Guerrero, and my little heart is going to cry. It's going to be good. Ooh, Roderick in the commander role for CMLL, LOL. He's the credible guy that's going to have a banger match and no problem losing. 100%. And I also feel that at this point in his career, Roddy is just out here doing side quests at this point. But I'm really excited. I think also non-zero chance that Ecchi match is to build to Claudio. No, 100%. I'm excited, so that's also going to be fun too. The reason I'm super excited about this upcoming Friday's episode of CMLL is not only because it's good for two reasons, right? Number one, it's good for me because I win and because Lucha Libre is awesome. But I think what makes me extra excited, specifically for Will, I'm really excited for him to be exposed to more of, the AEW talent. And again, I think Ricochet, Roddy, the Gates of Agony, I think those are really fun people to be introduced. And you know what? And I'm very excited to see AEW and CMLL continue this working relationship. And honestly, it's just fun. It's a win for wrestling fans and Lucha Libre fans all over the world. But that's going to be it for me here from all of us at BC WrestlePod to you watching at home. Remember, take care of yourself, love one another, stay iconic, and more importantly than anything, you always deserve to finish your story. We'll see you Friday for our TNA Wrestling post-show breakdown. But until then, and until next time, peace.
Thank you so much for tuning in to another Vibe Tribe production. What's going to happen next time? Well, you're going to have to tune in to find out. But until then, remember, take care of yourself, love one another, and as always, make sure that you keep the good times rolling. Thank you for being here, and we'll see you next time.